me do my two-step.
What's up, guys, and thanks for joining us on this Tuesday evening as we recap the Dynasty Redux Dynasty draft that we just went through. It took us just over a week, and I think that was pretty good time. We had 24 hours per pick, and there was a ton of trading even before it started. So, yeah, as we go through this draft board, you'll be able to see how many trades there were. It was insane and it was amazingly fun, and we still finished, I would say, in fairly decent time, I would say. So
yeah, I agree. It took us a long weekend to rally, but we got through it, and it didn't take as long as the Grow Your League Charity League did. So
right, and that was what, 4 hours per pick?
That was only 4 hours a pick, and it took longer. So I'm proud of our guys, and we had a good time. There wasn't a single person. Let's see. I don't think there was a single person, that didn't make a trade during this draft. So that's a sign of good things to come, I think, for this league.
No, yeah, you might be right. Yep, you're right. Corey 2K was the only one I was thinking there, but
he did late,
very late. So yeah, everyone made a trade. It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that. Again, this is the team or the league that we had Tony on the other night for the beginning of. We made it through about 10 rounds in the first day. People were chomping at the bit, and we weren't even supposed to start it till Monday, and we started early on Sunday, didn't even start the clock, and we made it through about 10 rounds. People were ready to go. So
it would have taken us longer if we'd have gone ahead and waited till Monday. Getting through those 10 rounds that first day like that really helped us a lot, I think.
Yeah, the work week was a little tough. That's why we set it at 24 hours, though. We knew we had some people that didn't have that much flexibility during the work day. So we set it to 24-hour clock just for that purpose, which worked out fairly well for us.
Yeah, we knew that was going to happen, and it was totally fine, even though, Shane, we like to bust your balls about it a little bit. But no, we didn't have a single person that having to go on an auto pick or nothing like that. So we did really good. I think there was only one time we waited over even like maybe 10 hours.
Yeah, I think that's probably right. Only about one time.
I think there was one time. I think it was Shane's pick just happened to fall in a weird spot to where he didn't get to it till like the next night, and it was just one of the things. But it was one pick out of 29 rounds. So
yeah, not bad. We made a pretty good pace, and I'm excited to show these guys just how many trades and stuff happened. So without further ado,
track them. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's insane. So let's see. My video might lag now that I'm sharing my screen, so apologies on that. They're supposed to be working on it, but we figured out that was the problem. Right now, it seems like I'm doing okay. We'll just keep track of that. Anyways, cool. So this is the draft board, and you can see here that everyone that has this black box down in the corner is one that was traded, right? So even the number 2 overall was traded. Down here in the second round, there are 5 trades or 5 picks that were traded just in the second round. And it pretty much did that throughout. I mean, there were so many trades here, back and forth and back and forth. I wonder over here, let me go to the top of this chat because I think this chat. Oh my gosh. Okay. Let me get. Okay. Wow. So like I said, these were happening before this was made. Okay. So let's see. This is where we got trade order. And then we went down trade order because we had to replace somebody. Immediately a pick was put on the block, and look, immediately a trade was done there with a bunch of picks, and then more on the block. It just kicked things off, and then it got funky from there. This is where we voted to just get the thing rolling on a Sunday instead of waiting. And then boy, did it to get wild. So as we go through here, you'll see all these trades that are just taking place. People put more trades or more picks on a trade block, trade. Oh boy, it gets interesting. So this is a long chat. Look at these big trades that are going on.
There were some really big ones, some really interesting ones.
Look right here. Trade. Like trade. This is all in the same day. There we go. Now we start a new day. Trade. These are all happening the same day.
I'd say probably 75% of them involved me or Corey.
Yeah. You and I were super active in this, but you'll see by our rosters, you'll see the result of that too. So, let me get back over here. So
we'll also have a pretty good. We'll be able to show you guys kind of the difference between me and Corey's strategy of trading up versus like James' strategy of trading down.
Yeah. Some people have some very different strategies. Yeah.
We'll kind of, we'll look at his roster and our rosters and see how, you can make both work because his team is very, very strong.
Yeah, it's interesting that works. There's really, if you're picking the right players, there's not really a wrong way to do it. As long as you have a strategy and stick to it.
You got to get the right. You got to get the right trade for your picks, trading down too, and he did very well doing that too.
Yeah, he did good, but I feel like he had a strategy and he stuck to it. We both had strategies, we stuck to it. It's when you don't really have a strategy and you're just trading to be trading, that's where you get in trouble,
Ruler.
So,
right?
What?
Like ruler.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I was going for without calling her out. Anyways, okay, so let's see. Kyle's team here. Of course, he had number 1 overall again, just like he does in so many leagues somehow.
I'm very lucky. Yeah, I got McCaffrey in a lot of leagues.
Yep. My video is lagging over there again. It's so annoying. Just ignore that. Sorry.
At least your audio is live, so.
Thank goodness. Okay, so Kyle had number 1 overall. Took McCaffrey. Duh. Now, Jason with bolts this way traded up. That was the very first trade and traded all the way up. And we're like, oh, he probably wants Dalvin Cook or something. And that's who I was trying to trade up to that spot. I was going to try to trade up and get Dalvin Cook. And he traded up and got Patrick Mahomes.
Which was a very interesting pick to me.
I agree. I thought that was very strange.
I think if he'd have sat tight, it's like where James grabbed Dobbins in that second round, he could have just grabbed Mahomes there if he just sat on his own picks. He could have.
Yeah, I agree.
Still got Kamara at 4 and could have got,
Well, when Sandman here, that's Shane. When Shane took Tyreek Hill, Jason was like, dang, I was hoping he would fall to me. Well, he should have switched that. He should have picked Tyreek Hill here then.
Mm-hmm.
And Patrick Mahomes easily would have been available at his number 4 pick. So he picked that backwards and he messed up his own strategy there. Some people just really value that quarterback. I would have thought he would have known better playing with this group of guys because we've played together with some of these guys. We've played with Shane. Jason's played with Shane, Corey, Tony before. So I thought he would have known better, but.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised to see them try to work on a trade for Hill at some point too. I could see Jason kind of going for Hill with Shane there. So we'll see how that works out.
Yeah. Cool. So then Hill, of course, then Kamara, Barkley. I was a little surprised by AJ Brown going here. Tony had shopped this trade talking about, hey, Dalvin Cook has dropped this far, shouldn't have. He's still available. He kind of shopped that pick a little bit, but ultimately he didn't get anything worth giving up what he thought was a generational talent in AJ Brown. Don't necessarily disagree. I just think I would have had a hard time picking him over Diggs or Cook, or even maybe Metcalf or Jefferson. Well, I don't know. That's pretty close. Brown, Jefferson, and Metcalf are pretty close to me.
I like Brown, I think, more than you do. But, to me, like him and Metcalf are pretty much even. I do like Diggs more.
I do too.
Like I would have
I think
I probably would have flipped those two, but
yeah, in that order, I like Diggs, Brown, maybe. Oh, that's hard. Metcalf, Jefferson. That's tough. Metcalf and Jefferson to me are just kind of they're pretty even, man. I have a hard time between them. I do think Brown is better than both of them, but a Diggs over Brown for me.
I do think the
But
top 5 were correct. Maybe not the correct order, but they were correct top 5 receivers with Hill, Brown, Diggs, Jefferson, and Metcalf.
100%. Yeah.
And honestly, it just boils down to personal preference. There's not really a wrong one to take, I don't think, in that order. So,
and honestly, I think the first 5 running backs are probably correct too.
Yeah, I would disagree with the order on that one a little bit more.
I would disagree with the order, but I agree with them. Well, I disagree with the order on the wide receivers too, but
yeah,
but I agree with which ones went.
Yeah, me too.
I was really hopeful. I had planned on picking Kelsey here at my number 10, but when Cook was falling, Cook and Diggs were both kind of falling. Diggs went here, and then when Taylor went here, I was thinking Dalvin Cook. I remember texting you. I was out and about. Dalvin Cook fell there. It was going to make me cry because it was going to mess up my entire plan because me and Kyle had already agreed to make a trade. Kyle traded me his 2-10 and 3-1 for 2-1 and what was it? 4-1?
Yes.
Yeah. So 2-1, 4-1 for 2-10, 3-1. I wanted to move my pick up 10 spots. Was that right? Yeah. Yeah, that's how that worked.
Yeah, that's what it was.
But again, and then I traded it away here. So that's why I was getting confused here because I was like, wait, what happened? But I forgot I traded that pick away. So because I had made another trade for 2-9.
Well, and before Tony made his pick, I had traded for 2-3.
Yeah.
Because I was going to try to grab Kittle and Diggs was my goal. And then Diggs went at 1.7, and I was devastated. But ultimately, Metcalf fell to me, and I wasn't mad about that at all. So,
yeah, I just know. So you had traded for this 2-3, and I remember you being there and being a bit torn because you didn't know who to take. And it was, you would have been happy, maybe trading back and still getting Hopkins or Adams.
Or Ridley.
Possibly even Ridley.
Ridley or Lamb were also very high on my list.
Right. So if you had traded back, you would. Yeah. So you were willing to, if you could gain a little something, trade back a little bit. Ultimately, you didn't get anything. Any offers you were happy with, obviously.
Yeah. So I just went in and took my guy. I see Shane's over here in the chat. What's he knowing about? What do you mean no? You talking about when we were talking about Jason coming and getting Hill? Probably.
Maybe so. I missed that. So let's just highlight your team here, Kyle. Let's see who you grabbed here first. Kyle, you started off with McCaffrey, Kittle, and Metcalf.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus.
Yeah, and then I got Akers at 4.1, right? Which is ridiculous.
Yeah, then you were able at 4.1 and during ours to grab Akers. So you had a strong start there. So let's just go back to the overall board here. So as you guys know, we love our tight ends, the position tight end.
Giggity.
So
that is what he was talking about. Talk about Jason coming to get Hill.
He's not giving up.
I didn't say you give him up. I said I think Jason could come after him.
Dude, if you get the right recipe there, it might be worth looking at.
It's true.
So I grabbed Kelsey right off the bat. Kyle grabbed Kittle. Those are both kind of personal preferences there. I do love me some Kelsey. I've got him in other leagues. So that was a target for me. I figured Kyle would want Kittle, and we were able to pull off this trade. I liked being able to move my 4-1 up to 3-1. obviously, I still could have gotten an amazing pick at 4-1 like Kyle did, but I still liked moving up there and getting who I wanted. But then I pulled off another trade after that, which I don't remember what it was. I just remember it moving my 3-1 to 3-7, but we'll get there in a second. So Kyle grabbed Kittle. Then, of course, Jefferson and Metcalf came off as they should have. And then Brew Crew here, Tanner grabbed Waller. I like that pick. I don't think Waller would have made it back to him. And on top of that, he's a Raiders fan. So I think he kind of got a 2-for-1 on that.
Yeah, if you look at ADP data, it's a little early, but like you say, it wouldn't have made it back to him. So get your guy.
Yeah, he wouldn't have made it. I mean, if he would have made a trade, because later that's who I traded my 3-1 away to, he might have made it to his 3-1, but he wouldn't have made it to his 3-7. So,
no.
So I think that was a good pick there. I mean, a little bit of a reach, but get your guy.
We'll get to more of a reach that he made here in a minute.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. So then we went Hopkins, which gave Tony Brown and Hopkins right off the bat. Dangerous.
Which is a disgusting duo.
I mean, everyone kind of got a pretty good duo to begin here, because then Corey got Barkley and Adams, also really good, right? And then Omaha, who had traded away his first rounder, his first pick came here at 2-7, and he took Dobbins.
Yeah,
I don't hate it for Dynasty. I think it's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, once you reach this point, you're kind of at that a different level. You're kind of down to level 3, maybe, kind of running backs. And so when you're looking in Dynasty, I think that's a good pick there.
Yeah, I mean, there's a handful of guys that I prefer, but
right,
it's not a bad pick.
Yeah, like that's higher than I would take Dobbins, but for a lot of people, it's not. No, that's just higher than I would take him. And then Kyler Murray to go with Hill here for Shane. I'm sorry, I was watching Kyler Murray highlight today, and I love me some Kyler Murray, man. He's so fun to watch.
Yeah.
He's electric. He's so good. He's only getting better. I mean, he's just fun to watch, and he's a Sooner. So I love that there. So this is where I traded. I don't remember what trade I did, but somehow I got 2-9 here. So I had 2-9, 2-10, and 3-1 in a row. So I picked up Henry, then Ridley. Henry, for me, he's a little bit older, just like Kelsey, but I think he's got a couple years left in him, 2-3 more years. So, I mean, that's a fine pickup at 2-9. I think that's really good value there. Sure, it's a PPR league, but
I mean, it's a PPR, and he's older, but for at least 2 more years, you have a tank on your team that you got at a discount.
Yep.
Why not?
Some major trade bait if I'm not in the championship running later on or something, you know. I mean,
true.
There's some advantage there, but I love Derrick Henry. He's fun to watch. Then I picked up Calvin Ridley. Duh. Julio Jones is gone. Like, there's no doubt about it. He's out of there. Where he goes, nobody knows. I don't care. Ridley's the man. Gimme. At 2-10, I'll take that all day.
Absolutely.
So I love Calvin Ridley there. Then Brew Crew hit me up for a trade. So I traded away my 3-1. And surprisingly, he went Jacobs there. Again,
this was a reach.
He's a Raiders fan.
Yeah, this was a reach that I did disagree with. But, I mean, it's his team. It's his guy. Like, we're ultimately here to have fun. So, the guy you want.
Jacobs has been undervalued in my opinion. Yes, I think he did get a ding, but he's undervalued. But he definitely still doesn't deserve to go before the running backs. Well, like the next 7 running backs,
right?
Or more. Maybe 8 running backs.
I agree. You know, he's being way undervalued right now, and I know, get your guy, but be smart about it. There's no reason for him to trade up for him. Trade up for one of these other guys, and then later on, you could still reach for him a round or so if you want, but not 3 rounds.
Yeah.
It's tough.
So here's why I knew I wanted another running back here, right? I had a tight end, running back, wide receiver. The reason I was willing to trade from 3-1 and ultimately ended up at 3-7 was because I was comfortable getting either Elliott, Chubb, Jones, Eckler, Harris, Mixon, Gibson, Edwards,
Akers,
Swift, Akers. I was so happy getting any of these guys that I was willing to trade back 7. And even if these were all running backs I wanted that were picked in front of me, I was still going to get a guy that I wanted. Now, interestingly, besides Elliott was first on my list because I'm a homer. I'm a Cowboys fan. So I like Elliott, wanted Elliott. And then my second was actually Eckler. So Eckler was my second one there. I love Austin Eckler, especially in a PPR. Daniel Derryberry says, snipe me with the Eckler pick. LOL.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I wanted Eckler so bad. So I got him one pick before D-Berry, which means he was getting all hyped and then just swooped in there and snagged Eckler from him. So that's funny. But, yeah, I mean, Elliott, Chubb, Jones, all great picks. CeeDee Lamb here, great pick.
I agree with football therapists here, man.
Oh, yeah.
Najee Harris.
Yeah, no. So, yeah, we'll cover that here in a second because I agree with him there. So, Omaha here, again, he didn't pick till 2-7, and he starts out with Dobbins, Elliott, Jones. So he picked up 3 really quick running backs there, all very solid. So even trading back, he got what he needed, which is really good.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he did really well there. Going back to Sandman, starting out with Hill, Murray, Chubb. Okay. Corey, Barkley, Adams, Lamb. Like, everyone's starting out really good. Tony has A.J. Brown, Hopkins, and then he took Pitts. Filling that heat. I mean, filling the heat from the tight ends going, and I think that's fine in a dynasty startup. I mean, it's I don't know how much further he would have made. I don't know if he would have made it 10 more picks. So,
well, Hawkinson made it 3 more rounds. So Andrews made it 2 more rounds. So he probably could have waited a little longer, but if he didn't feel like he'd make it, then get your guy.
But in that defense, yes, those guys lasted 2 more rounds, but there's also a drop off here in production or potential production, right? I think Pitts is going to outproduce, honestly, all these other guys. I think he's up here on this tier, maybe not first year, but second year, maybe first year. I don't know, man. He may pop up here.
I agree, but it's still potential. Like, he hasn't played a snap in the league yet, so
yeah, I agree.
It's a little tough, but like I don't hate it.
But for me, if Eckler, McLaurin, Najee Harris, like Cam Akers, like all these guys sitting on the board, I couldn't have personally taken Pitts.
I wouldn't have been able to trigger that early now.
So, he took Pitts, which made Eckler fall right to me, and I love Eckler. So, anyways. Now let me touch on a little something here. I won the championship in a league last year in our Roll Tide League, and let me tell you the guys that were on that team. I won the championship with Kelsey, Ridley, Henry, Eckler. I pretty much rebuilt my team. Not really on purpose, but those are guys that I just happen to love. I traded for them there, and in that league last year, and just happened to fall into my lap this year. These are just players that I really like. Eckler's still pretty young. What is he, 25? Why is my computer moving so slow? My gosh. It might be a sleeper thing. Oh, he's 26. Okay. So that's not bad. He's still pretty young. Cool. So next was Godwin, McLaurin. Those are fun wide receiver pickups there.
I really like McLaurin a lot.
I like McLaurin, especially now with Fitzpatrick. I think that's dynamite right there. I think McLaurin's going to be big this year. Once Fitzpatrick's not there, I don't know what their quarterback situation is going to be. I don't know what his long-term outlook is, but McLaurin's good, so it doesn't really matter, right?
Right. Football therapist, to answer your question, no, there wasn't. He just liked him and took him. That's really all there was to it.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's not a super flex. It's not a 2 QB. I guess he just wanted his guy. I don't know, or maybe he didn't understand the rules, which I doubt.
Well, it's like we were talking about earlier. He wanted that Mahomes and Hill stack, but he took them backwards, so he missed out on
yeah,
Hill.
he took him backward. Yep.
So,
okay, I totally agree with that. So at 310, I was able to take Najee Harris here. Really surprised, actually. I agree. Football therapist, he says Harris went late in a dynasty startup. 100% agree. Yeah, that's great. And what's great for that is also that's my number 3 running back. So that makes it even less risky being a rookie that we don't know his production yet. Granted, it's probably going to be fantastic. It's in a fantastic situation. He's a fantastic athlete. He's probably going to be great. But I was more than comfortable taking him here because he's my 3rd running back. At this point, he's, my flex. I would say that's easy. That's an easy decision right there. It was between him and Akers, honestly. I mean, Akers he still hasn't had that much production for me to be just swearing by him quite yet. He's just one of those, had half a season of doing good. I don't know.
It's half a season more than Najee Harris.
I agree. That's why it was between them both. And I knew you wanted Akers, so I almost took him to Troya, but at the same time, I couldn't pass on Najee Harris there. I mean, that's just such good value for him too. So
Akers, man, he's one of my guys this year.
Yeah. Yep. I knew that. It was hard not to take him. I mean, he's only 21 years old.
You hear that term flag plant, him planting my flag in this guy. Yeah, that's Akers for me this year, I guess.
I mean, I'm looking at his production last year, and it looks like he had 3 games that in PPR he scored double digits. So I don't know. I don't know that I'm completely sold on that.
I like his potential in a Matt Stafford offense.
Yeah.
That was really, I liked him, but when they made that trade was really when, my opinion of him started rising.
Yeah.
He showed flashes enough that I think with a good quarterback now, I think he's going to be able to run a lot freer.
Yeah. He missed a lot of games last year. So
he did miss a lot.
So it is what it is. I mean, I just have a hard time just swearing by a guy who only kind of had production in 3 games. The rest were just kind of very mediocre. But I'm sure he's going to be good. I agree that he'll be good this year. Just not as high on him as a lot of other people, I don't think. Football therapist says, love both Akers and Harris. Both will be workhorses for years to come. I agree. Yeah, they definitely will be. It was a coin toss there. Either one were probably going to be really good there. Okay, and then went Swift. I think that's good value for Swift there. Drop to him there. That one guy is Jason's son, actually. And I like how his team was turning on. He started out with Cook, Jefferson, McLaurin, and Swift. And you'll see he took Herbert next. He got a really strong start in there, I feel like.
Yeah, I feel like he got a really, really strong start.
And no trade or anything, just kind of sat put there and had some, for Dalvin Cook to drop to him there. And then Jefferson,
yeah,
he got some good value in there. He did really good.
Yeah, he was like, man, I'm going to look like a Vikings homer, and I don't even root for them. It's like, well, sometimes it just works out that way.
and a lot of people don't like that stack, that Cook, Jefferson, the running back, wide receiver on the same team. They don't like that. I'm just telling you guys, they're going to get their fantasy points one way or another, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, they'll get their points on your team or somebody else's.
Or somebody else's team. It just doesn't matter. Yeah.
The only time that really is bummer is when they both have a bad week. If the team overall has a bad week, then you're hit double. It's kind of rough, but
yeah, that's true. but it still rarely happens.
When you're
Like,
talking about players of this caliber, it rarely happens. Yeah.
right. Yeah, they're studs. They're going to get their points. Even if it's, garbage time points, they're going to get their points.
No therapist. It's not tight end premium.
I don't even know what tight end premium means.
I mean, there's some people do extra points for tight end catches and stuff. Like they'll do 1 point PPR, but they'll give 1.5 points for tight end receptions or something.
Ooh,
which I think is
I don't like that.
weird. No, I don't like that
That's
at all.
very weird.
We like tight ends, but we don't like tight end premium leagues.
Yeah, that's weird. I think there's enough of there's so much in it. Oh my gosh, could you imagine? I mean, Kelsey and Kittle and Waller and probably Pisnet, like, oh, you want to talk about, it's already an advantage having them without premium. If you had them in premium, my gosh, that's sick. So anyways, I'm anti tight end premium, which I didn't even know was a thing, but all of a sudden I have a really hard stance on it.
Yeah. I've never liked the idea of it at all.
Yeah, that's wild. Okay, let's keep going here. Akers, you got Akers, then Swift. I like that value. Michael Thomas, all the way down here at 4.3, I also think is a fantastic pickup. Down at 4.3. I mean, but look, I mean, he has dropped off. He's not that first off the board guy anymore, like he was last year.
With
but
good
he's
reason. I mean,
really
you don't replace a Drew Brees overnight.
Yeah, agree. But I mean, I think he's comparable down here right now, like this Godwin, McLaurin.
Yeah,
I mean, that's fine. I think that's fine.
It feels about right to me.
Yeah.
We can start, kind of skimming along here a little bit.
Yeah, I'm going to. I just wanted to get through maybe next 2 rounds here and then start skimming. Clyde Edwards-Helaire here to the Brew Crew. I think that's a very good upgrade from his Josh Jacobs pick there. So that helped him recover a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Then Gibson right after that to Tony.
I like
the
Gibson pick here.
Gibson. Chase here to Corey. So he had Adams, Lamb, and Chase as his 3 wide receivers there. It's pretty solid.
It is solid. If he didn't have those other 2, for me, that's a little early for Chase, considering, a handful of the guys that went after him. But, I mean, you can't argue with it.
Right.
I mean, it's close. Allen, Robinson, Cooper, Evans.
Yep.
It's hard to argue with that pick. But for me, I would rather have one of the proven guys, I think, on that one.
Me too. Bolts took Keenan Allen. No surprise there. Obviously, he's a Bolts fan. So
yeah.
Sandman took Joe Mixon, which I like that pick. I think Joe Mixon's going to do good. Joe Burrow stays healthy. Joe Mixon stays healthy. They have other weapons. I think that's going to be a very much improved offense this year.
Yeah, I like Mixon a lot this year. Unfortunately, we haven't got him in any of our leagues yet.
Yeah, sad day. Allen Robinson next. I like that. I think that's fantastic value on Robinson.
Mm-hmm.
But again, we're still in these players. I mean, gosh, we're in really good players still. Really, the only questionable player that's been taken up to this point is Josh Jacobs. I mean, everyone else is duh. Yeah. These are great players. So everyone's still building a good, solid foundation. Well, I guess Patrick Mahomes was also a questionable pick. But otherwise, placement wise, but up to this point, he would have been taken in there somewhere else. So,
right.
Okay, and then David Montgomery, that's fine. Yep. Okay, then you picked Cooper
and Josh Allen back to back. Yeah.
Then Josh Allen back to back. I think those are solid pickups. So, what does that give you so far? McCaffrey, Kittle, Metcalf, Akers, Cooper, Allen. You're cheating.
And then I think I had to wait a bit after that one to pick again.
Yeah.
9.2.
Yeah, you waited.
Pick after waited that one.
5.2 to 9.2.
Yeah.
Which let's go ahead. And then we'll come back to that here in a sec. Let's finish out this round here.
Yeah, we'll finish this round, and because you'll see our first, IDP come off at the end of this round, and then it starts getting.
Yeah. So then Andrews came off, maybe a little early for Andrews, but also I wanted to highlight here for Sandman. It's our buddy Shane, and he has a bit of a theme going here. Kyler Murray, Joe Mixon, Mark Andrews, and then even Tyreek Hill. He's Oklahoma State, and then Nick Chubb is oddly tied to Oklahoma with that good bowl win. What bowl was that, Kyle? The Orange Bowl? I can't remember. Sugar Bowl, maybe.
Sugar Bowl, yeah.
Anyways, that double overtime win against OU. Anyways, a little bit all tied together here with some Oklahoma ties and blah blah blah. So he kind of had a theme going there. Hey, you love your guys, like we said earlier. This is
it was a Rose Bowl. Shane says it's Rose Bowl.
Rose Bowl. Wow, really? He might be right. I think he might be right there.
I don't remember what yesterday was, so.
Yeah, no doubt. I had a hard time earlier. I was like, what is today? Oh, it's Tuesday. Thanks for joining us on Tuesday. Cool. So yeah, Mark Andrews there. Hey, he's your guy. Go get him. Then Evans went here again. Good there. So yeah, Football Therapist also said Rose Bowl semifinal game. So was the Rose Bowl? I couldn't remember what bowl it was, but yeah, that is gross, isn't it, Shane? Yeah, I almost cried that night. I didn't cry that night just because at least it was a great game. We didn't go out and get spanked like kind of typical OU. It was sad just because I loved Baker and hated to see him lose that, but at least it was a good showing and a really fun game. So let me see. Mike Evans went and then Etienne there. Okay. Like that's his second running back. But at this point, yeah, you're running low on running backs. There's been a lot go, so that's probably a pretty decent pick there. So Shane thinks that Andrews is third best tight end in the league. Maybe in a different offense.
Talent-wise, I agree with you.
I think in a different offense.
I don't know. Man, that's a tough call.
Yeah.
Maybe before Pitts was in the league.
Yeah, I might.
I love me some Mark Andrews.
I don't think I can agree with that.
I love me some Mark Andrews as much as the next guy, but I don't think I can make that statement.
We love Andrews. We love you, but I think I'm going to have to disagree. All right. So then after
you were out on the boat too long this weekend. That sun fried your brain, bro.
So this is where I got sad, though. I was actually aiming for Prescott here with my 5.7. I don't typically take a quarterback that early, but he was the last one that I really wanted. And since these others had all gone, I was going to grab him at my 5.7. But then Tony took him, and Tony also never takes quarterbacks this early in a draft. So I was super surprised by this and really disappointed that I got sniped. So yeah, not super happy about that. But in turn, I was able to take Ayuk, who I also love quite a bit, and had him at the end of the year in that Roll Tide League as well. Somehow I just had all these same guys. But I love Ayuk, and I think if Trey Lance comes in, I think that improves his value even more. So young guy, remember I took, I have some age on my team. So it's nice to get some of these young guys in here. I got Ridley and Ayuk, some young wide receivers. So that's really nice. And then I had Harris to back up my age with Henry. Eckler's kind of that mid-range age there. So then after that, more quarterbacks, Jackson and Herbert, which I both really like. But for me, if I'm not getting Mahomes, Murray, Allen, or Prescott, I'm waiting on a quarterback. So
yeah,
I stay pretty consistent with that.
Which you did.
Yep. So then I passed and went with Ayuk. Couldn't pass on Ayuk there. Honestly, I'm surprised he made it that far. So, and then I had traded away my 5.10 to D-Berry, and that's where our first defensive pick went. Kyle, what do you think of that?
Yeah, it's always really hard because you don't play IDP leagues very often. So it's always really hard to know how early is too early to start taking IDP. And like for me, this was too early. I just don't value defensive players very high in comparison to my offensive players, mostly because the drop off is so much smaller than in offense. Like the tiers are much larger. So, for me, this is a little early. And you'll kind of see that, with there's not a ton. I mean, it's like the top 10 linebackers went really fast. And then you saw a lot more off it, like the rest of the offense kind of go before people started filling in their defense again.
sure.
There were a handful of people though that took like the top 3 or 4 defensive backs and a couple of defensive linemen, which that was kind of a theme throughout this deal was how many defensive linemen got drafted.
Yeah.
Which I thought was a little bit comical. So, especially the ones where it was like D-line / linebacker, I feel like kind of tricked some people.
Absolutely.
That weren't necessarily looking at the prior year scores of those particular players.
Yeah, because when you look up IDP rankings, it is tricky, right? Because they put a lot of these defensive ends in the linebacker ranking, so it ranks them really high, and that's not really their true ranking. You have to look at how the scoring set up previous years, tackle sacks, blah blah blah. It's really tricky. You got to do some homework on there.
It is. It requires a little more homework.
Yeah.
Some of the guys did it fine. Some could have done better. But
it's hard, but you learn as you go. So
you do.
And some of these guys, it's probably their first IDP league because it is a little bit strange. It's a little different. So overall, I don't think anyone really like messed it up, but they maybe didn't do as good as they could have.
Right.
So, James, backing it up there, I see you talking about, look at what Winston did for Godwin and Evans 2 years ago. I agree. That's why I'm not totally down on Michael Thomas. I don't think he's as elite just because that quarterback play does make a difference, but he's going to do fine because Winston will still get them the ball. I agree that, even OJ Howard was producing, Cameron Brate was producing, like people produce with Winston. Even the other team was getting some receptions off of Winston, so he was just throwing it to everybody. Winston throws the ball to anybody and everybody. So
the difference is Michael Thomas doesn't have a Godwin opposite him in New Orleans.
Yeah, that does hurt him. Not having a supporting cast there hurts him, I feel like. Okay, so Leonard went here, and then it went Hawkinson, Gesicki, back-to-back. This is where Football Therapist says that this is too early for Gesicki for him. This is where he thinks that one guy may have kind of messed up. I tend to agree maybe a little bit that
I think he panicked a little bit because of all the tight ends going.
Yeah.
But, if you look 4 rounds later, Fant goes. Like, I'd rather have Fant.
Yeah.
Or Tunya or Smith, which I got way later. So,
yeah. So
there's a lot of tight ends that went after him I would have rather had there.
I agree. I think it's a
little
little
later, not there necessarily either. But
yeah. But then you get more Higgins. Then you get a couple more linebackers. More of these just kind of, Javonte Williams. We knew Omaha was going after him. He loves him some Williams there. Good potential. Miles Sanders. Okay. You're picking him up at 6'8". I think that's fine value there. No doubt. Yeah. Then Burrow came off, Devontae Smith. This is where our first DB came off with Budda Baker. Okay.
Then you start seeing, a lot more defense sprinkled in.
Oh, this doesn't do it quite like.
No, the defense shows up weird on there.
I don't like it on here. I like it more on their mobile app. You can see their past years, like total tackles and everything, way easy on there. So, okay, keep going down these picks, Kyle.
I was just gonna say, you see, a handful of. You see your is it Claypool, and you see a bunch more defense. Russell Wilson, You got your boy Jalen Smith.
Yep,
my
picked up
two.
Jalen.
Juju, Cup, Carson. I feel like you got a real good deal on Carson right there.
Yeah, I think that's a steal.
Let's see. More defense.
Yeah, I think these D linemen are going a little early, but it's allowing people like Carson, Gaskin, even Kareem Hunt, Chark Woods, it's letting some talent fall to these guys. That was kind of surprising talent for sure to drop that far.
Yeah, Daniel, that's a good strategy. He says he's hoping to start a defensive run since he didn't have a pick for a couple of rounds when he picked that linebacker, and it worked a little bit, but not probably to the degree you were hoping.
well, let's see. He picked him up here, right? And then he skipped around here, but it did work because it took a lot of defense, and then Carson dropped back to him, so it did work, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't call it a run. There was 2 linebackers the next round, and then a D line, 3 linebackers and 3 DBs the round after that before Carson. So the next round it didn't really work, but the round after that's where it really hit.
Yeah, I mean,
before he grabbed Carson, it really kind of took off on defense a bit.
Yeah, I think that worked. Yeah, getting this linebacker DB linebacker defensive line. Yeah, I mean, I think it just allowed Carson to drop further than he should have. So, I mean, it was a good strategy, and you got a great linebacker there. So,
yeah,
so it kind of worked out in your favor twice there. So,
yeah,
I don't mind it.
And then we keep going down the line. Keep going down the line. Let's see Trevor Lawrence. I grabbed DeAndre Johnson's the last of our Pittsburgh receivers.
Yep.
A couple more linebackers. Corey Brown took Fred Warner that I wanted to drop a little bit.
Yeah.
Tony took Mike Ward's.
Yep.
I like that pick for him there. Especially when you see the next one is Ronald Jones.
yeah, it drops off.
They're going to drop off
there. Yeah, because your next one's okay. I think everyone's writing him off. I think he's you, but obviously committee there and probably going to end up losing his job after a year. And then your next running backs available are Carter and Sermon, who, I mean, who knows how that's going to go. So
I think it's going to go very well, which is why I took both of them. But before that, you grabbed Julio Jones, which I thought was a great pick at 9.10.
9.10. I'm really happy about that.
So, yeah, even in a dynasty startup for a 32-year-old receiver fixing to go to a new team, that's a steal.
Well, my other wide receivers are super young, right, with Ayuk and Ridley. So I can afford to take a little bit older.
As we'll see, you'll end up with a lot more youngsters, too, here in a minute. So
Yeah. Well, let's do something. Let's just jump to see what we got. As you can tell here, Kyle had a couple different lulls. He had a lull in here because of his trades, but then he had, a bunch of picks just kind of bunched together here. Down toward the end, he kind of stuck with it. My trades gave me some bunches in here and in here to take guys. And then I got a bunch there and a bunch there. So, lots of trading, moving around.
Do me a favor real quick, because we're going to have to wrap this up here pretty soon.
Yeah, that's why I'm just jumping to our rosters here.
Click over on Omaha real quick so everybody can kind of see the difference in strategy there.
Yeah. See, no first rounder.
Yeah, and then he moved down to, he had that second round, and then he had a group real quick there in 3-4 turn. And then
the sixth round.
That 6-7 round there, little grouping.
Yeah, 6-4, 6-7, 6-9, 6-10, 7-1, 7-2. So he had like 6 picks really quick in there.
Yeah,
and that was
major.
Talent.
Yeah, that was major. And then I didn't realize he had such a gap in there too, but
yeah, I didn't either.
Then he kind of got down here and kind of stopped trading for a little bit too.
Yep.
He did
snipe. He traded back and still got some good talent.
He did take my CMC handcuff though. He took Hubbard. which is kind of a jerk move.
I mean, I just appreciate that he traded out of the first round. Still got Dobbins, Elliott, Jones, Robinson, and Thomas.
Yeah.
And then he got some good young talent in here too. So,
right. So that's what we're saying. If you get the right deal for your picks and take the right guys when you're on the clock, either strategy, trading up or trading down, can work just fine.
Yeah. And then Bolts, just for comparison here, let's see Bolts, who traded up to get Mahomes.
Yeah.
Mahomes, Kamara, Allen, Evans, Chark, Lawrence, Hunt, Edmonds. I mean, he still did fine. He got Tonyan way down here.
He could have done a lot worse.
Yeah, got Micah Parsons here, jerk. But look, he got this round 13.
Exactly, Micah Parsons, jerk.
he owned round 13 down here. And there's good, especially defense. This is a good spot to own and rack up some defense, which is exactly what he did.
Yeah,
a little weird taking two. I think he wasted one of these by taking two defensive linemen, but
I agree.
But that's a good spot
another
to
DB.
start picking that up. Yeah, he should have gotten another DB there. I agree, or even maybe another linebacker because he only had that one linebacker. So he should have gotten a linebacker, or no, he had two linebackers. So yeah, he should have grabbed another DB probably. But
with him, I would have skipped Pittman and Asai. And I would have taken another DB and another linebacker there if just full defense right there in that row.
Yeah, because his offense was pretty much full.
Yeah, his offense was fine. He didn't need Pittman.
I mean, he had also had two quarterbacks already with Mahomes and Lawrence.
Yeah, I thought that was a little wonky, but hey, it's his team.
Yeah. Yep. So then, yeah, not too bad there. So, and then you got guys like Corey who didn't really trade until the very end.
So Corey Brown took more of the guys that I wanted than any other team as far as sniping me, I think.
Yeah, especially his defensive guys.
Fred Warner, I was definitely looking to grab.
You're looking to get Lamb, Warner.
I know Jonnu Smith I was really looking at. Who else? Wow, I felt like there was a lot more when we were doing this. But
yeah, I was looking for Jonnu Smith there too. I liked him.
Stafford was one I was thinking about grabbing later as a backup.
Yeah.
You know,
good solid backup there. I agree.
But I was jaded on Corey Brown after he took Warner. Fred Warner.
Yeah.
I was done with him. He was dead to me at that point.
Well, let's see how Brew Crew. He took between Josh Jacobs, but
between Corey Brown taking Fred Warner and you taking Trey Lance, I felt so betrayed by Corey's in this draft.
Yeah, no doubt. Oh, we'll cover that situation here in a second too. So Diggs, Waller, Jacobs, Edwards-Helaire, Russell Wilson. He got Thielen down here, Juju, Judy. I mean, his team's not going to be bad. But look how many defensive linemen. Bosa, Mack, Burns, Sweat.
A lot
I
of
think
those,
he was reading those
they
rankings.
Duel, as linebackers.
Yeah. His defense is going to struggle. His offense is going to be fine. His defense is going to be hurting.
Yeah, I mean, he can still get on waivers and pick up some defense that'll help him out, though.
Totally.
I would hop on it if I was him before everybody else did, but
let's just look at your roster really quick. I swear I had this pulled up earlier. How do I just pull up your no, that's my team. How do I just pull up your team?
If you click team, it'll bring up the standings to the right, and then you can click it off of that.
Here we go.
Or you can, yeah.
I just had to extend my window a little bit. Okay. So Allen, McCaffrey, Akers, Cooper, Metcalf, Kittle. I hate you. Johnson in there at your flex right now. I'm not sure if that's going to be who your flex stays at. I'm not sure.
No, I think I might start shopping to improve my flex a little bit.
Then you got Sly as your kicker. I think that's a good kicker right there. Tank Lawrence, who you got in the last round. I wanted Lawrence so bad.
He was a top 12 defensive lineman last year. That I got in the last round when those guys were taking D lineman that whole draft.
Yep. You got Queen at linebacker, Bush at linebacker.
I'm really happy with those two linebackers. A couple of the young studs.
Chen is a linebacker DB. Okay.
Yeah, he's kind of like Keanu Neal dual kind of deal.
And then Curl there at defensive. Okay, let's look at your. You've got Fields, Connor serviceable, Singletary serviceable. Sermon's going to be good there. Maybe not this year, but next year I think for sure he's going to be really good. Carter, that's you got value on him too. Davis, you picked it after the draft, right?
Yeah, he went undrafted. I grabbed him after the draft as a free agent because I was a pick short, so I just had a free spot.
Yeah. Sutton, I like Sutton. Hardman, yeah. Chenault. You have a lot of high upside guys here. You have you have a few rookies here that I really like. Smith Marset, Tony and Palmer. Maybe not contributors much this year, but I think next year, especially for Smith Marset and Palmer.
Yeah, for sure.
I think those
Tony could start, right away, but the other two for sure next year.
Yeah. Tony's in an interesting situation. That's a pretty crowded wide receiving core. I also feel like next year might be more of a year for him. It's hard to say, really.
Yeah.
Ingram and Smith here as other tight ends you have. That's sick. I mean, you picked up Ingram so late that it didn't matter.
Yeah, I got Ingram in like the 25th round. I was like, I couldn't let him go, like as a flex or anything. Yep. He's still young, he's still got lots of upside, so why not?
Or some linebacker depth. And then, I mean, what great depth here. You got Edmonds, man. Cool. Okay, but you traded away a lot of draft picks.
0 draft picks, 0 rookie picks the next 2 years.
Yep.
So I'll have to work on that during the season. But
yeah, you're going to have to try to recover some of that for sure.
Yeah, and I will. But honestly, I really don't need to because the oldest person on my team is Kittle at 27, I think.
Yeah. Maybe Edmonds.
Littleton is 27 also. So those are my 2 oldest guys. Wait, how old is Corey Davis? 26. So, yeah, Littleton.
Cool.
Littleton and Kittle at 27 are my 2 oldest guys. So, honestly, I don't even need rookies the next 2 years.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a pretty good deal. That's a good situation to be in. My team here is a good mix of old and young.
Mm-hmm.
As you'll see here, I've got...
Which is a more typical build, is a combo. It's pretty rare. I hit kind of a rare lineup to get everybody so young.
Yeah. So I got Aaron Rodgers as my starting quarterback right now, Derrick Henry, Austin Eckler, Ayuk, Ridley, Kelsey, Najee Harris, Greg Zuerlein, who I'm very high on this year, Pierre Paul, which, I mean, Hamburger Helper Hand had a great year last year. I mean, he really did. So they're saying this year he could just dominate again. So picked him up super late. I waited so late that I wasn't afraid to take him as late as I did. Bobby Wagner, again, old, but still producing, doing really well. Schobert is like 27 or something. So he's not super old, but I've got a little bit older on my defense, but I feel like especially D linemen, easier to replace from game to game, from year to year. Not really worried about my defensive lineman. If I think he's going to produce this year, cool. He'll produce for me this year. I'll find someone to replace him next year. Wagner.
Well, like I said, I got Lawrence in the last round, so that's a perfect example of what we're talking about there. Yeah.
Bobby Wagner, I got him actually pretty late too. I don't remember what round I got him in, but
let's see. I still got it.
I got him at pick 13-8. So at the end of round 13 for a top linebacker is pretty good.
Yeah, for sure.
Schobert, I mean, another top. And I feel like I got him pretty, because as you guys saw earlier, like linebackers were flying off the board. I got him at 10-3. So I was able to pick up some of this other offensive talent before going with my linebackers and still got good talent. So got Collins here. He's coming off of an injury. but the dude produces when he plays. So hoping he bounces back from that injury. And then Johnson this year, pretty high on most ranks. Should get a lot of opportunity this year. Don't know much about him if I'm being completely honest, but he got a good contract, so he must be pretty good. Those DBs, they're hard, man. They're so hard.
Yeah.
So my bench, I'm pretty stoked about my bench actually. Jalen Hurts, young, great talent. Fantasy wise, good talent. I like his production in fantasy. Real life, I hope he sucks. I hope the Eagles lose every game. I hope Jalen Hurts gets me 25 to 35 points each of those games in fantasy. That's a fair analysis. Is it too much to ask?
No.
Trey Lance here. I love Lance. We've picked him up in our other leagues where me and Kyle have drafted together. We're both really high on him. And I knew Kyle wanted him. We were chit-chatting through this whole thing, and Kyle had a couple picks in front of me. I was trying to trade up, and Kyle was about to take Lance. I traded up and got right in front of him, a pick in front of him, and sniped Lance from him as I was playing it off. But right at, the stroke of midnight, I jumped in there with a deal I didn't think I was going to be able to pull off and had to give up some picks for future years to get up there. But Lance is my favorite quarterback in the draft, actually. I like him better than Trevor Lawrence, actually. So that's who I wanted as my rookie. To have Aaron Rodgers, an older one, backed up by Hurts and Lance, I am A-okay on quarterback. I feel good about that. So I traded away a couple picks, as you'll see in a little bit, and I'm not worried about it.
I mean, I was upset. I was upset you took Lance from me, but I got Fields right after, so I'm not.
Yeah, we took him back to back. You picked up Fields right after that, which also is a good pickup. I just have a personal preference for Lance there.
Yeah.
And then Gus Edwards was my last. I picked him up right before I had a long lull in picks. I had about a 7-round wait because I had traded up so much. I had to wait about 7 rounds in there, so I picked up Gus Edwards before I had that long lull in picks. So, which Kyle was also unhappy with.
Yeah, because he knows I was going to take him in that lull.
he was easily the best value running back at that point. And Edwards, if you paid attention, he's on a lot of sleeper lists this year where he can produce big this year. So I know JPK Dobbins is supposed to be the man and everything, but those two split and they both get production. I mean, took Ramajay Stevenson at the very end just because OU, big fan. Probably not going to do anything this year. If Michelle walks next year, then he'll be one of 5 running backs left, so that'll boost his production, so whatever. I'm against Patriot running backs, but I love Stevenson, and he was a late pick. There weren't any other running backs. That's what I wanted, so I took him. Gage, love Gage. When Julio leaves, love Gage's production. He showed last year what he did with Julio out. Produces really well. Here's where I got all my rookies now.
Here's your rookie receiver quadruplets.
Yeah, when I traded up, I had a pretty good run of picks in there, and that's where I picked up a bunch of my rookies right in the middle of the draft.
And it's all the rookies we've been talking about in all of our drafts and stuff so far that we like. Yeah. We have St. Brown in our other couple of drafts. Newsom we have in our other couple of drafts.
But Newsom I picked up after. Newsom didn't get drafted. I picked him up immediately after the draft.
Right. And then Elijah Moore and Rondale Moore, which are both 2 of my favorites out of this draft as far as situation goes.
Yeah.
So those were all really, really good pickups there. Whereas my rookie receivers, I'm going to have to wait a little bit for their production. Your guys are all going to be right out of the gate.
Yep. So, I'll know whether keep it or not probably this year. And then, of course, we talked about Julio Jones earlier. Got a great value on him. But then other rookies, I was able to pick up McKitty and Freiermuth, which I think are both great. Freiermuth probably this year probably starts producing. McKitty probably has to wait a year before he gets his chance unless an injury occurs. But because I have Kelsey and Freiermuth, I feel more than okay with that. I actually, I had a Mr. Irrelevant pick in this draft, and so the last pick of the draft, I actually picked up Tim Tebow because I thought it was funny. So I picked up Tim Tebow, and then pretty much immediately went and swapped him out for what's this guy's first name? Quiddy Pay out of Michigan. Rookie, got drafted this year, first round, 21st overall. Dude has an amazing life story. Go look it up, dude. His family story is incredible. Anyways, I needed another defensive lineman. I figure why not go pick up a rookie who looks like he's going to make a pretty good impact. And I just like him as a person. So, yeah, went and picked him up. Jalen Smith is my third linebacker. Martin is my fourth linebacker. His ADP was down in like the 600s or something stupid. But I believe he's taking over as the starting linebacker in Green Bay. So he's kind of a little bit of a sleeper in there. He should be taking over a pretty good role there. And then Walker, another DB. I mean, I don't know much about DBs, if I'm being honest. IDP is so hard to keep track of. So many of these guys are so alike. In some years, they get 56 tackles. Next year, they get 78. And then the next year, they're back down to 58. You know, like, there's no consistency from year to year. It's just all situational, depending on the rest of the team, what defensive end is on the other side of the line. You know, I mean, if their team's really good at offense that year, so the other team is passing a lot to catch up, or if they're running the ball a lot because they're in the lead. I mean, defense is so hit and miss, dude. It's tough.
And
whereas offense is pretty predictable.
And that's why I didn't value them as highly in this draft as a lot of these other guys did.
But at the same time, this is, to me, I love IDP versus a team defense.
Oh, yeah.
I'd prefer it, no doubt.
Completely. There's still strategy there.
Yep.
You also fared a little bit better in the future draft picks. You got a second each of the next 2 years and a fourth in 2023 left.
Yeah, I kept some.
So we both got some work to do for future drafts, but
but as we looked at Brandon's the other night, now his rookie draft went, and they had 3 rounds, and everyone got really good players in all 3 rounds. In this one, I mean, we could have probably gone 4 rounds and everyone would have gotten 4 really good rookies. I mean, the rookie drafts can go really good. So
especially since we have defense and they didn't. So that should help fill out those 4 rounds for sure.
And here's how I view it. These are second rounders, right? So those are okay, this is going to sound like a jerk thing to say, but these should be high second rounders. I should finish near the top of the league. So these should be high second round picks.
Well, top 5, you know.
Right. I mean, they're not going to, in my opinion, so at most they're going to be pick 15.
I wish I'd have kept my second because it's going to be the first one in the second round. That would have been money.
Yeah. Huh? Okay. So I like my second is going to be a high second. I hope, I feel like.
Depends on injuries.
And later on, that can be really good trade material. You know, so
possibly.
I'm looking at rookie picks. I'm more interested in 2024 rookie picks than I am 22 or 23 at the moment, because I feel like my team can make me to 24, get me to 24, no problem. So that's what I'm looking to kind of redo.
If I don't acquire any picks the next 2 years, like, I'll survive it. Honestly, It'll be a bummer because there's going to be some really good players coming out.
Yep.
You know, so.
But you're always going to miss. You're going to get and miss players all the time. It is what it is.
Yeah.
And then you can trade for them, whatever. It's going to be fine. But anyways, that's how our teams went. I like how our teams went. I like a lot of the teams in this league, actually. I feel like it's going to be super competitive.
I think it's going to be very competitive, yeah.
I like how active everyone is. Everyone seems really into trading. It's a great group of guys. We either know them personally in real life or we've played with them for many years.
I just had a light bulb over my head go out.
I heard that pop. That was wild.
Popped. That was weird.
So it's a great group of guys. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm excited for this league, as I am all my leagues. I don't have a league yet that I'm not excited for, but this one in particular, just because it's nice reconnecting with some of these guys. So a little bit more of on a personal level, excited about it.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. So good. So glad to have some of the guys back from before. It's going to be a blast. The new guys seem like to enjoy it and kind of know what's going on. So yeah, it's going to be a blast.
Totally.
Lots of fun. Kicking their butts.
Cool, guys. Well, we'll keep you guys updated on how things go. And until the next time, we'll see you then.
See you guys.